Hello, my name is Nicole Kengot, a 5th grade teacher at Plum Elementary and Pinellas County Schools 2019 Teacher of the Year. I'm here to introduce you to the Marzano-focused teacher instructional model and give you an overview of the instructional observation and evaluation process. An observation is when the instructional framework is used as a tool to provide feedback. This can be done 3 ways: a walkthrough, a formal observation, or a targeted observation. The term evaluation is used to describe a collection of data that includes observations, student data, and professional growth. Here is a look at the Marzano-focused teacher evaluation model map. There are 4 areas of expertise. We call these areas domains. The strategies listed within each area are called elements. The Marzano-focused teacher evaluation model has a total of 23 elements. The blue oval at the top is Domain 1, Standards-Based Planning. In this domain, the focus is on the evidence and implementation of standards-based lesson planning. This includes aligning lesson resources to the standard and utilizing data to close the achievement gap when planning instruction. On the right side is a yellow box. This is Domain 2, Standards-Based Instruction. You will find research-based instructional strategies for teaching the standards. The strategies follow a gradual release of instruction, moving from previewing and processing new content to facilitating students as they engage in cognitively complex tasks. With each of these strategies, the desired effect is focused on student evidence. To the left is a gray square. This is Domain 3, Conditions for Learning. Conditions for Learning is about creating a positive culture and climate that enhances student learning through routine, processes, and procedures. Students are using data to track their own progress and celebrate their success. Students are intentionally organized into groups to process content, and engagement strategies are used to bring students' attention back to the critical content of the lesson. Along the bottom is a blue rectangle. This is Domain 4, Professional Responsibilities. This domain includes adhering to school and district policies and procedures, maintaining your expertise in content and pedagogy, and promoting teacher leadership and collaboration. The desired effect for these elements are focused on teacher evidence. Now that we have looked at all 4 of the domains, let's take a look at the element protocols. The protocols provide a more in-depth look into each of the elements included in the focus model. Let's take a look at an example. This example is from the element Identifying Critical Content from the Standards. I will not go through each line, but I am going to highlight some of the features that are included in the protocols. At the top of each element protocol, you will find the focus statement. This describes what the teacher's responsibility is for each element. Under the focus statement is the desired effect. The desired effect describes what you want to see as a result of implementing the strategy correctly. As you move down, you see example teacher techniques for implementing the strategy and techniques for monitoring for evidence of the desired effect. You can also find example student evidence and adaptations that can be made after monitoring student evidence. At the bottom of each protocol is a scale. The scale here comes from the element Identifying Critical Content from the Standards. Notice that the focus statement is included in the Applying and Developing ratings. This is saying that the strategy has been used correctly by the teacher. The rating is determined by the % of student evidence that has been monitored and shows the desired effect at the taxonomy level of the critical content. If more than the majority of the students are monitored for evidence of the desired effect, then the rating is applying. If it is less than the majority, then the rating is developing. To be rated at innovating, greater than 90% of the student evidence has been monitored and show the desired effect of the taxonomy level of the critical content. We just reviewed the protocol and scale for the element Identifying Critical Content from the Standards in Domain 2, Standards-Based Instruction. When reviewing the protocols, you will find that the rating scales in Domain 2 and 3 state that to receive innovating, greater than 90% of student evidence has been monitored and show the desired effect. For Domains 1 and 4, the description for innovating changes from being student-focused to being teacher-focused. Let's look at an example from Domain 4, Professional Responsibilities. In the scale of the element Maintaining Expertise in Content and Pedagogy, the description for innovating reads, helps others by sharing evidence of how to develop expertise in content area and classroom instructional strategies. This description is focused on the action of helping others. This is true for many of the elements in domains 1 and 4 of the focus model. Now that you are familiar with the observation tool, let's take a look at the different types of observations. There are 3 types of observations: a formal, targeted, and a walkthrough. If you are on an annual, professional, or continuing contracts, then you will receive a minimum of 2 formal observations. If you have been newly hired to the district and have a probationary contract, then you will receive a minimum of 3 formal observations. Formal and targeted observations follow the same observation cycle. The cycle consists of 1. A pre-observation conference, 2. An observation that is at least 30 minutes in length, and 3. A post-observation conference. A pre-conference is an opportunity for you to share with an administrator what they can expect to see during the formal or targeted observation, allowing the administrator to ask clarifying questions. A pre-observation form may be used in lieu of a face-to-face conference upon approval of both parties. A formal observation consists of a pre-observation conference between the administrator and the teacher, an observation of at least 30 minutes, and a post-observation conference. The observation cycle for both formal and targeted observations include a post-conference. A post-conference will be scheduled within 5 business days after an observation. A post-conference is an opportunity for the administrator to provide feedback on the observation. When preparing for a post-conference, you may choose to bring evidence for any element that was scored in Domain 2, Standard-Based Instruction, and Domain 3, Conditions for Learning, during the observation. It is not necessary to bring evidence to the post-conference for elements in Domain 2 and 3 that were not observed and did not receive a score. A teacher may bring evidence to a post-conference related to any element in Domain 1, Standards-Based Planning, and Domain 4, Professional Responsibilities. Within 5 days after a post-conference, the teacher may submit additional evidence to be considered by the administration. Targeted observations are teacher-requested and can include any element in Domains 1, 2, 3, and 4. Targeted observations are only for teachers on an annual, continuing, or professional contract. Only 1 targeted observation may be completed per school year. The request for a targeted observation must be scheduled by the teacher within 5 days after one of the post-observation conferences. A teacher can request up to 4 elements they would like to target during the observation. Identifying critical content is an element that is required to be marked during every observation. The other elements being targeted are the choice of the teacher. A walkthrough can be either evaluative or non-evaluative for elements in Domain 1, Standards-Based Planning, and Domain 4, Professional Responsibilities. It is a great way for administrators to provide written feedback through iObservation. For elements in Domain 2, Conditions for Learning, and Domain 3, Standards-Based Instruction, a walkthrough is always non-evaluative. When can you expect your observations to occur? For teachers on annual, professional, or continuing contracts, 1 formal will occur 2 times per year, 1 each semester. The targeted observation can occur first or second semester, but must occur at least 4 weeks prior to the end of the school year. For teachers on a probationary contract, the first formal will be determined by your hire date. The first formal will occur after the 21st day, but before the 60th day. The other 2 formals will occur during the 2nd and 3rd quarter, but could be prorated based on the date of hire. We have reviewed the different types of observations included in the focus model, the number of required observations, and when the observations will occur. Before we review the element requirements, let's take a moment to talk about deliberate practice plans. A deliberate practice plan consists of targeted elements and action steps designed to improve teacher practice as it relates to impacting student progress. The deliberate practice plan and the progress made toward accomplishing the targeted elements and action steps will be discussed at each of the post-observation conferences. At the conclusion of the implementation of the DPP, the administrator will assign a rating based on the scale. A score of 0 or unsatisfactory will be given if the staff member did not write a deliberate practice plan. A score of 3 or developing needs improvement will be given if action steps are written but training was not attended or finished related to the targeted element. A score of 7 or effective will be given if the staff member wrote a deliberate practice plan, training was attended, but there was no evidence of growth observed in the classroom relating to the targeted element. A score of 10 or highly effective will be given if the staff member wrote a deliberate practice plan, implemented the parts of the plan including professional development, and achieved the growth results desired in the plan. Your deliberate practice plan is a working document that you can change throughout the year as you work towards achieving your goal. Once your deliberate practice plan has been created, written, and approved, you can continue to monitor your progress in iObservation. To do this, log in to iObservation, click on the Growth tab, and select Plans. You will see your current plan. Select the View button on the right side. There are many features that allow you to monitor your progress as you complete milestones toward your goal. Action steps can be added, removed, or changed. You can also leave comments, upload evidence, or use the drop-down to mark a step in progress or completed. Now let's review the element requirements and scoring calculation. All elements are rated in Domains 1, Standards-Based Planning, Domain 3, Conditions for Learning, and Domain 4, Professional Responsibilities. Element 4 in Domain 2, Identifying Critical Content from the Standards, must be rated in every observation. Element 13 in Domain 2, Helping Students Engage in Cognitively Complex Tasks, must be rated at least one time during the school year. All formal, targeted, and walkthrough observations that are marked as counting toward evaluation are part of the instructional practice score calculation. All observation data is entered into iObservation and can be accessed throughout the year. To calculate the instructional practice score, take the highest rating for each element. For Domain 2, Standards-Based Instruction, the elements identifying critical content and helping students engage in cognitively complex tasks are required. The other 5 highest rated elements will count towards the domain score. In each domain, add the ratings and divide by the number of rated elements. This will give you the average rating or domain score. Weigh each domain score. Add all of the weighted domain scores to receive an instructional practice score. Let's walk through an example of how the instructional practice score will be calculated once observation data has been entered into iObservation. When you log into iObservation, click on the Evaluations tab, then select My Evaluations. Find the In Progress evaluation and select View. This is where you can visit throughout the year to monitor your evaluation. At the top of the screen, you will see the sections where the instructional practice, student growth, and deliberate practice scores are displayed. The final score will display once all data becomes available. Below this, you will find the observations that count toward evaluation. Let's scroll down a little further. Next, you will see the Instructional Practice Score section. This is where we will practice calculating the instructional practice score. First is Domain 1, Standards-Based Planning. Notice the highest rating is already in the far right column labeled Evaluation Score. If we add these ratings, we get the sum 9. Then we divide by 3. The domain score is 3. Next, multiply by 0.14 to apply the domain weight of 14%. This gives us the weighted score of 0.42. Now let's scroll down to Domain 2, Standards-Based Instruction. In Domain 2, Standards-Based Instruction, identifying critical content and helping students engage in cognitively complex tasks are required. These elements have been marked with a yellow arrow. The other 5 highest scores in Domain 2 will also count toward the domain score. These have been highlighted in green. The 3 lowest scores in Domain 2, excluding the required elements, will be dropped. These have been highlighted in red. This may include an element that was never rated. Notice in this example, 2 of the elements that dropped were not rated. Now, it is time to calculate the score in Domain 2. First, I will add the highest ratings. The sum is 22. Second, I will divide by the number of rated elements. Although there are 10 elements in Domain 2, I will only divide by 7 because 3 elements have been dropped. When I divide 22 by 7, I get a very long decimal number. In iObservation, it rounds to the nearest hundredth. So, in this case, my domain score would be 3.14. Third, I will weigh the domain score. The weight for Domain 2, standards-based instruction, is 34%. To weigh the Domain 2 score, I will multiply by 0.34. The product is my weighted score. In this example, it will be 1.07. If we scroll down a little further, we will see Domain 3, Conditions for Learning. Following the same calculation steps and a weight of 34%, we get the weighted score of 0.97. Last is Domain 4, Professional Responsibilities. This domain has a weight of 18%. For our example, we will get the weighted score of 0.60. Now we are ready to calculate the instructional practice score. To do this, we will add the weighted domain scores. This gives us an instructional practice score of 3.06 effective. In iObservation, below the instructional practice section, you will see the sections where the student growth and deliberate practice scores are entered. Scroll down a little further and you will see a comment box. Comments are optional. Sometimes administrators will leave comments on your evaluation, or you may choose to leave a comment. Once you scroll to the very bottom of the evaluation page in iObservation, you will find the Approval and Notification section. This is where you can acknowledge your scores once they become available. To calculate the final evaluation score, you need the instructional practice score, student growth score, and the deliberate practice score. The weight of the instructional practice score is 56.7%. The weight of the student growth score is 33.3%, and the weight of the deliberate practice score is 10%. After the scores are weighed, you add them and compare them to the scale. For our example, this would result in a final score of 3.27, which is effective. There are many tools and resources available to support you as you learn about the Marzano Focused Teacher Evaluation Model. In iObservation, there is a resource library. Just type in the search bar a domain or element you would like to learn more about, and you will find the latest downloadable documents and classroom videos that support that element. Evaluation resources are also posted on our main Pinellas County Schools website. Go to pcsb.org, click on Department and Divisions, find Professional Development, and select Instructional Evaluation Model on the left. One of our newest resources is our SharePoint site located in Office 365. Once you log into Office 365, click on the SharePoint app, then search Professional Development Central. Click on Instructional, then Evaluation. There are many professional development opportunities that are applicable to the Marzano Focused Instructional Model. These opportunities are advertised in the monthly Chalk Talk publication. For answers to specific questions related to the evaluation processes or iObservation, please contact the Department of Professional Development.